Okay, boxing fans, right now I'm talking about Dirty Derry Mathews versus Anthony Crolla. This is the rematch, the anticipated rematch. No, it's a good fight, honestly. I mean, the last time these two guys fought, it was a really good fight. I'm just going to go through their careers. No, I'm just going to go through the record. Fuck that. Uh, Anthony Million Dollar Crolla has 25 wins, 9 of which by way of knockout, to only 4 defeats, only one of which has come by knockout to Derry Mathews. Um, Derry Mathews has 32 wins, 17 of which by way of knockout, to 8 defeats, 7 of which coming by way of knockout, and also a draw thrown in there against Gavin Rees. Mathews has big potential, or did have big potential. He was a great amateur, former world champion with a paper belt, so well done for him for that, because it was actually a good fight for him. He won a world title. You can't take that away from him, even if you don't agree with what the title was. He still said the world title in it. He never shies away from a fight, even when it's to his detriment, unfortunately, and that's where a lot of his knockouts come from. Crolla is more of a poor man's Erislandy Lara, okay? He does train in 2 different gyms. He sometimes goes to America and fights with the Mayweather gym, which is good for him, and it suits his natural style. Other times he fights in the Gallagher gym, and that does not suit his natural style in the slightest. He does like his pot shots. He's a defensive-minded fighter. However, he does have inactivity in and outside of the ring, and that can be his detriment. This is the rematch, like I said. If you've not seen the first fight, go watch it. End-to-end boxing. First both Crolla and Mathews sized each other up. Then Derry started to do well and dropped Crolla. Crolla came back and was looking like he was going to stop Mathews, set up a great jab. And then all of a sudden Mathews came back, stopped and hit Million Dollar Crolla. Took his titles. Looking at the advantages, the power has got to go with Derry Mathews. Neither boxer has that Matisse-esque power. Don't worry about that, because you're not going to watch that. Mathews is the bigger puncher, and the type of fighting that he does is he's got the good punch arsenal. He likes to put his punches combinations together, and grind his opponent down, try and outbox them and hurt them, and then hopefully stop them with the referee coming in. Crolla is not similar to that. He's, like I said, he's a fighter caught in 2 minds. He likes to be more of a Erislandy Lara type fighter, but then again he fights sometimes with a bully tactic, and it doesn't suit him. He's not a big puncher, like I said. He doesn't really use his combos. He likes his sharp pot shots, and he likes to rack up points like a poor man's Erislandy Lara. But he does have a decent power body shot, which he does get from the Gallagher gym, which is also Derry Mathews' weakness. So I think they'll be trying to push for that in this fight. Looking at the speed, and Mathews does have great hand speed. He works well with his combinations, and he just looks better all over in terms of Crolla, in terms of speed. Also the same with movement. He's got the better ring movement. His foot speed is better, and the way he glides around the ring is just better than the way Derry Mathews does. Anthony Crolla does it. And also he's got more head movement than Crolla, which is also a good thing, considering Crolla's lack of head movement was the detriment to him getting knocked out in that fight. Moving on to the boxing ability, I'm just going to run through how these guys fight up. Crolla's got that nice jab. He likes to hit his opponents with eye-catching pot shots, similar to Erislandy Lara, but he's not as skilled as him, and he doesn't have the amateur pedigree. Like I said, sometimes his movement can be lacking, and also his speed can be lacking too. It's like he can see the shot he wants, sometimes he just cannot get the speed in his punches to pull it off. He does work in a nice body shot on the inside, and he also sits in the pocket. Sometimes that can be a good thing, sometimes that can be a bad thing. Like I said, he had lack of head movement in his last fight, and this was all due to the Gallagher gym. By the way, 90% of the Gallagher gym's fighters have very little head movement. They sit in the pocket, which is a bad tactic. They have a non-existent defense and try to incorporate a bully tactic. If you look at Crolla and his loss to Derry Mathews, he done all of this. No head movement, no defense, bully tactic, walked onto an uppercut. That is what happened to him. Okay? This guy was like a fighter set in two minds. He wanted to be this defensive fighter, and he also wants to be this bully tactic fighter. He cannot do both. And I know which one he's better at, and it's not the bully tactic, I'll tell you that. Right, now Derry Mathews has moved to America more recently for sparring and also training. I'm not sure in which gym he's been fighting at, but apparently he's looking quite good. He's getting good sparring, good training. In this fight, he's got most of the attributes that he'll need to win this fight. Movement, boxing ability is in his advantage. Speed is in advantage. Power's in his advantage. He only has one big negative to his name, and that is the guy's chin. This guy does have heart. He'll keep coming back for more when he's taking punishment, but can the chin take it? And in the past, it's not been able to, man. Looking at Derry's chin, I'm just going to go in on this, yeah? He's been stopped 7 out of 8 of his losses. That's something to think about, He seems to be very weak to the body, which could be Crolla's money shot, because, Crolla does have a good body shot. Crolla, on the other hand, does have a good chin. In the previous fight, because you're probably going to say, well, didn't Derry stop him? Yes, he did. He did walk onto a lot of shots from Derry in their last fight, and it was maybe a premature stoppage. If you want to say no, it wasn't, I'll agree with you. If you say it was, I'll also agree with you. It was a 50-50 on that one. At the same time, also, Derry's been in a lot of wars. He is a war horse. He continually fights the wrong fight. Wears his heart on his sleeve, that type of fighter. He cuts up a lot. I've got to point that out. Derry Mathews cuts up a lot more recently, a lot more recently since his first fight with Gavin Rees. Every time he gets hit or there's a slight clash of heads, he's cut. That's what it is. I'm going to try and make my prediction now. Do I think he's going to do it? Everything in this fight is actually pointing to Derry Mathews, except I've got one rule in boxing, and that's don't rely on Derry Mathews, because one good shot and he could be on the floor, or he can get cut, and his heart will fade away. The only thing is, can Crolla take advantage of this guy's chin and cut issues? I don't know. I mean, this is a real 50-50 fight in that sense, so I'm going to go with Crolla to win this fight by this knockout, not decision. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, Crolla comes in. I'm not making an excuse, I'm just pointing this out. Crolla comes in and sometimes doesn't perform the way he should do, and you've got to say, whose fault is it? Is it his fault? Because I like his style personally, but I blame the gym. I blame the Gallagher gym. That's why I blame. So I'm going to say Crolla wins this fight by knockout. So I'm giving both Crolla and the gym the benefit of the doubt for this fight. Tell me what you think.